Oh hi, it's me, Goat. Happy I said unicorns. Recently I've just discovered how much fun can be had in the world of film photography, and in particular a type of photography called trichrome photography. Since this Acid Unicorns is all about new tricks, I figured, what better than to take you all on a tour of the different cameras and methods I've been playing around with. I really hope you enjoy it. Before we get started though, I feel I should explain something real quick. What is trichrome photography? Tri meaning 3 and chrome referencing color, we know this is color photography using the 3-color separation method, a method in which full color images are created not by using a color film, but rather by taking 3 photographs on black and white film which have all been filtered to 1/3 of the color spectrum: red, green, and blue. When these 3 images are overlaid on top of each other, the resulting image is a full-color RGB image. Incredible! So incredible that it was only discovered in 1861? So much for new tricks. So, starting off with the largest camera we'll be looking at today, this is my Minolta Maxim 5, fitted with these 3 color filters. This is the most common way to take trichromes. In order to get the 3 images to line up properly when they're overlapped later, using a tripod is a must, and having a shutter release cable helps out too. This definitely still leaves some room for error though. This was my first time out shooting trichromes, so I definitely consider this an experiment first and foremost, and I think most of the shots came out really well, but that was not the case for this shot. I accidentally shot through the blue filter twice and completely forgot the green filter. After I got my scans back from the lab though, I still decided to put it together as a normal trichrome. And yeah, it's not a perfect image, but I do think the colorful effect coming from the wind blowing through the moss is rather pretty. However cool this is though, it doesn't change the fact that each photo here had to use 3 frames of black and white film. And considering the price of film these days, it really starts to add up. Introducing the 3D Image Technology 3D Ink 35mm 3D camera. Wow. It's a 3D camera. Or at least it was supposed to be. With its triplet of identical lenses, it was designed to take images for lenticular printing, a process I only ever saw used on Pokemon cards and Darth Vader cups, but I guess is still available for purchase even today. As you can see, I've modified it with color filters which allow it to be a portable, no-fuss trichrome camera. Normally, one of the big downsides to trichrome photography is usually you have to have 1 lens and 3 filters, so you always have to use a tripod, and then you have to spend time changing the filters in between each of the 3 photos, and if your subject is fast moving, forget about it. All of this can feel a bit limiting at times. However, this hack of the 3DFX 3D camera solves these problems by having all 3 lenses take a photo simultaneously each time the shutter is fired. Boom, trichromed. Boom, trichromed. Boom. Bichromed? Yeah, this anime fan tried to escape my analog cringe compilation by being in the last shot of my roll, with only the red and green filters fitting on the film. So, for being made entirely of plastic and having a color separator slapped together from lighting filters and electrical tape, I think these images came out superbly, and its portability made shooting with it super fun. Because of each lens's offset nature, during the construction of the trichrome, it allows you to choose a focal point in the image, and the further away anything else is from that focal point, the more distorted and colorful it'll get. And finally, one last point about how much more economical using this camera is compared to standard trichrome photography. With each press of the shutter, this camera takes 3 vertical half-frame shots, meaning that each trichrome ends up using only 1.5 standard 35mm frames. All in all, I think this is a wonderful way to take trichromes, especially if you're looking for that nauseous, dizzy look. I'd love to see what this looks like with a higher ISO film later in the day. Alright, that was pretty cool, but using up a whole 1.5 frames for each picture is still just a bit too rich for my blood. We need to go smaller. Meet the Popcam. As its name implies, this compact little blob of plastic was designed to take pop art-esque photos a la Andy Warhol using its 4 tinted lenses. Each one of these lenses takes a quarter frame photo, allowing us to use every frame on our roll and effectively turning any black and white film into an equivalent exposure count color film with no extra steps required. I guess there is some tiny drawbacks to that though, like lowering resolution, lens quality, lack of zoom, and wasting one corner of each frame to yellow, which isn't even used in Trichromes. Speaking of those lenses, I want to show you something. The way that the shutter works on this camera is just genius. I've got it all wound up here with the back open so you can get a better look. So check this out. It's a wheel with a slot cut out of it that spins around each lens. Genius! Now, I know some of you are wondering, Goat, where's the flash? Where's the viewfinder? Flash? I've never heard of a thing called a flash. And the viewfinder, this is just as good, just as perfect. You don't need anything more than that. Just show the pictures. Yeah, so the results from this are rather experimental, aren't they? The colors are everywhere and the grain is the size of peas, but in some cases, I think it works. Just don't zoom in too far. Alright, that was a ton of fun and super exciting the whole way. You know, normally with film you have this tension of not knowing what your photos look like before they come back from being developed, but doing trichrome photography adds this whole other step in the process that just feels like opening presents on Christmas Day, like one by one as you construct the trichromes from each image. I think it just feels really magical to see the final result, knowing that every step along the way adds another layer of distortion and uniqueness to the final outcome. If I had to pick a favorite from all three, I think it would definitely be the 3DFX camera, just for being such a great middle ground between the two extremes. I really hope you all had as much fun watching this as I had making it. For now, I'm gonna leave you with the wisdom of some graffiti that I found on a boat. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your acid unicorns. I love you all. Bye bye.